Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. Folks, we're going to start off our program as we have in the past with a salute to the United States of America. I'm going to introduce you to the United States Army Barbershop Quartet and the host of the Barbershop Quartet Convention giving us the Pledge of Allegiance. Would everybody please rise at this time?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. The host of the convention gave us the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to thank all of our men and women around the globe, wherever they might be, for their service to our country and to our world. We want to also thank those people, men and women in our armed forces around the world and our allied armed forces, wherever they might also be. God bless you all. May you all return home to your families in safety when your tours of duty end. God bless you very much, and thank you so much for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, I failed to mention last Friday when we started September 2023. I'm going to mention it now because I feel compelled to do so. Today and the rest of this month is National Preparedness Month. National Emergency Preparedness Month. Folks, I've been sponsoring Emergency Preparedness Fairs. I've been sponsoring preparedness get-togethers literally all around this country for about 20 some odd years, maybe longer than that. National hazards are unavoidable, but with proper preparedness actions by all of us, those hazards and their impact will be reduced. We and all of our partners that I've had throughout the years work to prepare, monitor, access, and alert people to the hazards that are around us. Are you ready if you are affected by a disaster? Friday last week began the National Ready campaign, launched the 20th Annual National Preparedness Month, which is recognized each September of every year. The wildfires in Hawaii and Hurricane Aveyah this year are just small reminders of the importance for individuals, families, and communities to prepare for disasters and emergencies that can happen at any time. Now, while I said it's a small reminder, that is not to negate the people that have lost their lives. It's not to negate the suffering that people have as a result of these fires and these hurricanes. We have Hurricane Lee that is just south and east of the Leeward Islands right now, Martinique and that area. Hurricane Lee is now Hurricane Category 4 storm. This may turn Category 5 literally at any minute. This is going to go straight up into Florida. That's where it's headed. Now, I have spoken to presidents. I have spoken to presidential advisors. I have spoken to governors. I have spoken to advisors to governors, counties, cities, and states. They have all issued a National Preparedness Month proclamation, acknowledging the importance of building a nation more prepared, more resilient, and I don't like that word, more prepared in the face of more frequent and severe disasters that our countries have endured in the past years. Organizations of the federal government have also partnered with people like myself and states and counties and cities all around the globe. This is not just a United States proclamation anymore. This is a global proclamation to make sure people are prepared for whatever happens. There are people from the United States Congress that are co-chairing this proclamation to spread the message of emergency preparedness. We want to thank each and every one of them and their various teams and congressional delegations for their work to keep our country safe, keep America safe, and help people around the globe to be safer. Rising water levels, wildfires, and extreme flooding continue to take lives and put communities at risk and cause billions of dollars in damages literally around the world. National Preparedness Month is so much more of a way to stress importance of preparedness and to raise awareness of how families and businesses and cities, towns, and counties can prepare for disasters. There are a plethora of resources that are available to help everyone be more prepared. I want to now share with you a message that Gary Peters of Michigan, who is a Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee member in Michigan. He says, disasters can strike at any time and place, from our coastal communities to the plains of the Midwest to every corner of the United States and every corner of the world. Well, we can't predict every disaster. We always have a plan, and we must have a plan and be prepared. September is National Preparedness Month here in the United States, but it must be a ringing discourse around the world, serving as a critical reminder that we must be ready year-round to protect our homes, our communities, businesses, and our loved ones from the devastation caused by emergencies and disasters of all types. I urge everyone around the world. I encourage all Americans to take advantage of the disaster preparedness resources and guidance that we have here on the internet. Even on our emergency management website, there is plenty of guidance that we have there as well. And I put it there for a reason. Over there in the files sharing area on our website, I put that information there to help prepare people. I've given it for free. I used to charge $50 an hour to talk to people about preparedness and why it's so important. Sam Graves of Missouri, who knows as well as I do that we're right in the midst of turning Missouri upside down with a major earthquake, which we're going to talk about tonight. Sam Graves is a chairman of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. We have increasingly extreme weather events across the nation and around the world. Recent examples include the Maui wildfires, the worst wildfires in over 100 years, and extreme heat that has impacted millions worldwide. Just this past March, a tornado outbreak devastated communities across Mississippi in his own district. To face this growing threat, it is imperative that we work with our government agencies and with our partners to increase preparedness for all disasters at all levels, which includes ensuring that those who are disproportionately impacted by disasters, including minorities, rural areas, local low-income communities, tribes, individuals with disabilities, children, and seniors are included in emergency preparedness, emergency response, and emergency recovery. I am honored to serve with congressmen, senators, governors, mayors around this United States and people around the world that I've worked with over in Spain, La Palma, Canary Islands, over in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, parts of Finland, Germany and Austria, and even people in New Zealand and Australia that I am honored to know and work with. I want to thank them for their service. I want to thank them and urge them on to help prepare their communities. I am honored here tonight to serve as a chairman, the CEO of Emergency Management Associates, to help push this message of Emergency Preparedness Month. And I look forward to working with all of you and any agencies or governmental people to help promote this all over the world. I look forward to again working with churches and other organizations within communities. It's a pleasure to associate myself with these people. Now, I posted this morning on one of our EMA threads, and I'm going to repeat it here. I feel that I need to get this message out because people doubt me. If some of you doubt me, then maybe you don't belong here. We've seen information come out where people's lives are in danger. I know for a fact that this is going to happen. To tell you this does not bring me great joy at all. It makes me feel bad. It makes me sick because I know that the destruction is going to accompany these volcanic eruptions and these earthquakes. The earthquakes are going to kill people, massive amounts of our fellow human beings. This morning I was on the verge of tears because my heart aches knowing what is going to happen. And I'm telling you right now that I know it is going to happen, and it's going to happen very, very soon. Julie Heflin wrote in one of our threads, I have a gut instinct that they will, referring to these natural disasters. In essence, they may go off in about the same time period, as I have said as much. I think it will be a zipper not happening, because it is. This is happening. We see it every day. Now, while I know Julie may be right, I know she is. The mountains indeed will become flat, and the flat land will be raised up as mountains. We already are seeing terrible earthquakes all around the world. This is only the beginning of the end of this story. Now, I know that this is almost rhetorical saying this, but I have to ask how many of you are prepared. I've asked this many, many times throughout my career and throughout my life. How many are prepared? A while back, about 2014, almost 10 years ago, FEMA asked a one-question poll, asking one question from emergency managers around the United States. How many of those emergency managers had a 72-hour kit? How many emergency managers around the United States had a 72-hour kit? A few weeks later, the results of that one question came out. As it turns out, only 25% of emergency managers complied with what FEMA had been asking all of us to do, helping everyone in our communities to prepare and to have an emergency preparedness kit, a 72 hours kit. How many people did that? Not many. Not many at all. Folks, I am upset. I'm outraged at the number of people in our individual realms around us that have not even begun getting prepared. In fact, I know of families, because you all have told me this is happening in your own families, that you have been scoffed at. You're being ignored, and basically you're given the middle finger anytime you mention being prepared. I have gotten letters and emails from many of you telling me that you've been ostracized from your families because you talked about emergency preparedness. Some spouses have gotten upset at their spouse for preparing, putting extra food in the pantry, buying a little something extra, including Band-Aids and other medicinal items, so that they might be better prepared for an emergency. Even spouses are rebelling. This has to stop. This must stop, and it must stop immediately. We are at the, what shall I say, the edge of disaster right now. Our world is about to come apart. Fantasy Dog just gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. You guys helping support our channel means the world to me. God bless you for that. Love you, Ron. Just saying, American hero. All of you can also be heroes. You need to prepare, and you need to prepare now. We don't have much more time left. Do you have the supplies that we have talked about? Have you talked to your families about what is happening in your areas where you live? Emergencies and disasters that your family members are going to see in their lifetime, in the coming days, weeks, and months. Are all of you prepared? As Vicky, one of our own here today, said this morning, most of the people in these chats are prepared or are still in a constant state of preparation. As far as my family, sadly, most just shrug me off. I have heard that happen more and more and more. I don't hear about it every day, but at least once a week, someone will tell me that they've been ostracized from their family for talking about preparing themselves and their families, their children, their spouses, trying to help their immediate family. I am so sorry that your family members just shrug you off. They have to see. No, they are seeing what is going on around us. And they, like all of the rest of us, must take responsibility for themselves. And that's exactly what I am talking about right now. To take responsibility for yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters that are here tonight, I'm telling you, our world is about to come apart. We've already seen a lot of the signs of it happening. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. Prices are going up at the stores almost on a daily basis. When we used to buy a cart full of groceries for $50 10 years ago, now it's about $150. 2 baskets of groceries costing over $200. I've seen it. We need to make sure that we are prepared. I'm seeing more and more stores having empty shelves. And unfortunately, this is just a sign of the times. This has been going on now for 3 years, maybe longer. Ever since the government came out with a pandemic. Yeah, the government came out with their pandemic. And now it's getting worse. During the last year, governmental organizations have torched businesses that distribute food. They have closed down and burned down facilities, slaughterhouses, and meat processing plants. Burned them down to the ground. Food processing facilities all around this country and all around the world are burning down. Almost every day we read of another business that has been on fire. Global oil is at the most expensive price that we've ever seen. And yet, this past week, there was another fire in New Orleans. And it was such a big fire that it closed down the oil refinery in New Orleans. Closed it down. What happens when that happens? Prices skyrocket. And they have. We continue seeing that. I've spoken to Demon Catman, who is one of our mods here. I've spoken to people, my friends in Sweden, and they're seeing the same thing happening there. I've spoken with my friends in Australia and New Zealand, and it's happening there as well. What are we willing to do to make sure that we are ready when this happens to us? What are we willing to do when this happens to us? Folks, I want to show you something. This was supposedly a 6.2 earthquake in Coquimbo, Chile. Supposedly a 6.2 earthquake. This is more like a 6.8, 7.0 magnitude earthquake, a major earthquake in Coquimbo, Chile. And of course, the agency only shows 2 other aftershocks. Ladies and gentlemen, about 20 years ago, Coquimbo, Chile had an 8.0 earthquake. A major 8.0 earthquake in this same location. How do I know it? I saw it happen. I was not there, but I saw it happen. Yesterday evening's earthquake happened at approximately 7:35 p.m. yesterday evening while we were on the air. It's a sad thing that those people in Chile that don't have much money, those people in Chile don't have much of anything. And yet these natural disasters are happening to them again. USGS called this a 6.2 earthquake. Let me show you something else. Look at this. This is a heliplot. Heliplot from Venezuela. Look at the earthquake. This is a heliplot from this morning. It goes off the chart, doesn't it? Look at the horizontal lines after the quake. They span down 14 hours. This was not a 6.2 earthquake, it was a 7.0. This was a major 7.0 earthquake down along the coast of Chile. I still have not heard if anybody's been hurt or injured, but I have the feeling that that did happen. And I will be using whatever sources I possibly can to find answers to my questions. What happened in Coquimbo, Chile? When they had an 8.0 20 years ago, hundreds of people were killed. Hundreds more were injured. Power's out all over that area for weeks. To say that nothing happened after that earthquake is stupid. Yet that's what I heard. Okay? This happens. We saw an earthquake down in Indonesia the other day, over just north of Bali, Indonesia. An 8.4 earthquake. I don't care what USGS or anybody else says. An 8.4 earthquake. I pulled all the information on that earthquake. I know. USGS, in their infinite wisdom, downgraded to a 6.9. It came out as a 7.1. All the evidence points to a much larger earthquake, a minimum of a 7.4, and by all my knowledge that I have gathered now since, I believe it was an 8.0. And the people in Bali, Indonesia, and that whole area should be thankful that they did not have a tsunami after that earthquake. IRIS, which is an independent geology source, studies seismographs and put out seismographs in individual homes. They said it was a 7.1. The Geological Bureau of Australia said it was a 7.1. BMKG, which is the seismological authority in Indonesia, said it was a 7.1. GFZ said it's also a 7.05. But USGS downgraded it to a 6.9. NNSN, which I don't know whether an organization in Indonesia, said it was a 6.9 as well, but the other four organizations said it was a 7.1. Another organization said it was a 6.5. INGV says it was a 6.5. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Look at this seismogram. Or I'm sorry, heliplot. 14 hours of shaking. Each individual horizontal line below that initial line of shaking is an indication of a body wave as a result of that earthquake. Look at that. 14 hours of shaking. That's the data. And I stand by the data. We must do whatever we can to stand up and take whatever measures we can to prepare. Things are getting worse. They really are. Now, today, I'm going to talk about volcanoes. I don't have a current picture of Shishalden volcano. Shishalden volcano in Alaska, in the southern Alaska panhandle, peninsula, has been erupting for 9 days. 9 days straight. Today, they recorded an eruption up to 31,000 feet high, 9,400 kilometers high. After 10 days since the latest paroxysm at the volcano, the 9th episode of vigorous lava, fountaining, and strong ash emissions appeared yesterday and today. We have a lot of volcanoes all around us. Last week we spoke of Edgecombe volcano and Mount Sitkin over in southeastern Alaska. They are both experiencing earthquake tremors because the magma is rushing into those volcanoes, preparing those volcanoes to erupt over on the eastern shore of the Pacific. Ecuador today has 2 volcanoes that have been erupting. We've spoken about both these volcanoes many times in the past. Reventador volcano in Ecuador erupted up to 14,000 feet high, 4,300 kilometers high, or 4,300 meters high, I'm sorry. Sangay volcano, 21,000 foot eruption, 6,400 meters high. We've talked about Fuego volcano in Guatemala, in Central America. Guatemala has 3 volcanoes that are always, in some fashion or form, erupting. Fuego volcano erupted today. A 16,000 foot eruption, 4,900 meters high. And another eruption today, 14,000 feet high, 4,300 meters high. Another volcano over in Guatemala, Santiaguito volcano, has quieted down today. But last week it was erupting up to 12,000 feet high. Iceland, as we have reported, has several volcanoes going. Fagradalsfjall, Reykjanes volcano on the peninsula, has been erupting. It is fountaining. It is fountaining. It doesn't go more than several meters high. LD volcano, Reykjanes Ridge, Iceland, has also been erupting. In Indonesia, they have many volcanoes that are erupting, and they've had many volcanoes that have erupted in the past. Today, Semeru volcano erupted up to 14,000 feet high, 4,300 meters high. Semeru volcano erupted again, 16,000 feet high, 4,900 meters high. Mount Ibu volcano, 7,000 feet high. Dukono volcano, 7,000 feet high. Both of those two volcanoes are down in Halmahera, Indonesia. Over in Italy, we don't think much is going on in Italy, but we have two volcanoes over there on the southwestern side of Sicily. Mount Etna and Stromboli volcanoes are still fountaining, not promoting much harm or anything else right now, but they are still fountaining to some extent. Today, over in the volcano islands, Japan, there is new explosive activity that has produced a pumice raft spread out to the northwest of Japan. Fukutoku Okinoba volcano is erupting beneath the sea. It's a submarine volcano in the volcano islands. Suwanese Ejima volcano in the southern Ryukyu Islands has also been erupting. Over a 7,000 foot eruption today. Kirishima volcano in Kyushu, Japan has also been erupting. Asama volcano in Honshu. The people in Japan are waiting for this volcano to take off. Asama volcano. Asosan volcano in central Kyushu, Japan. They're waiting for that to start up again as well. In Mexico today, in southeastern Mexico, Popocatépetl erupted again. Several times a day, Popo erupts. Today, 20,000 foot eruption at Popocatépetl, 6,100 meters high. Ash, debris, toxic gases, and small lava rock being thrown out of the volcano and rumbling down the side of it. Down in Papua New Guinea, west of Indonesia, Ulawan volcano has erupted, a 9,000 foot eruption, flight level 900, 2,700 meters high. Over in Central America, not Central America, in South America, in Peru, Sabancaya volcano has been erupting. It hasn't really stopped. Today, a 25,000 foot eruption, 7,600 meters high. Ubinas volcano is also near that, and Ubinas volcano has calmed down. It has not erupted today. It's a sister to Sabancaya, though. Over in the Philippines, Mayon volcano over on Luzon Island, Philippines. It was seen erupting, but nobody could get a height level on it. No planes got up anywhere near that to give any kind of height level on Mayon volcano. Today, around the Pacific Ring of Fire, we have 22 volcanoes erupting, 91 active total volcanoes. 91 active total volcanoes in the Ring of Fire, as well as volcanoes over in Africa, volcanoes over in Iceland. Are we prepared? I'm asking, are we prepared? We could easily get another volcanic eruption in the Canary Islands. We could easily see a volcanic eruption over in the Azores. We have all the earthquake facts about tremors and full-blown earthquakes hitting in those areas. We've been talking about this for a very long time. Does anybody care? Does anybody really care? This is for Gredesfjall on Lake James Peninsula. Okay? That's just one of the volcanoes. This is Fuego today in Guatemala. This is Fukutoku Okinoba volcano off the coast of Japan, right here. Think about that. A pumice raft on the surface of the Pacific there, in the volcano islands. Glacier Peak volcano in Washington State. Glacier Peak volcano in Washington State. Hold on just a minute, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of something. This is Glacier Peak in Washington State. We talk a lot about this volcano. We've shown you earthquakes earlier this week that are happening here at Glacier Peak. We know for a fact that the United States Geological Survey and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network were supposed to be putting 5 more seismographs on this mountain, but they have not done it. They have not done it as of yet. Where are they? Why are they not using these? Okay? Glacier Peak. This is a far off, distant picture of Mount Hood in Oregon. Mount Hood in Oregon. I'm sorry, just a second. I think this picture is so far outlandish it's not funny. I'm going to reduce this so you can see it. I didn't realize this was such a huge picture. I apologize, guys. Okay. I apologize. This is Mount Hood in Washington, or in Oregon, State, Oregon. Okay. Wow, I had no idea it was such a big dynamic picture. This is Mount Hood right here. I'm sorry it took me a minute to show it to you. Yeah, Terry, it doesn't surprise me we have those magma signals out there. I've had people tell me that we don't know what we're talking about. I'm trying to show you right now that we do. This is Mount Ibu down there in Indonesia. Mount Ibu in Indonesia. This is Krakatau. I'm sorry, now we don't have the pictures. Something happened to our pictures here. Hold on. I've got a fix for this. This is Krakatau volcano down there in Indonesia, right between southern Sumatra and Java, Indonesia. Krakatau. This is the lava field I'm going to show you at Kakadu volcano in the Kakadu National Park in Australia right here. Right here, that's it. Let me reduce the size of this picture as well. Look at those tufts of lava there, guys. All over that volcano National Park in Australia. It's huge. This is actually the dike. Okay? This is actually the dike of the volcano. as the lava hardened after an explosive eruption there, this is what it left. This is what it left there. Look at that. It's huge. It's huge. We've all talked about Long Valley Volcano. Long Valley supervolcano over there at the California-Nevada border, just west of Mammoth Volcano. All these volcanoes, guys, they are all shaking. They're all showing evidence of a pre-eruption. Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii erupted a few months ago, but it didn't do much. Fortunately for the people of Maui, or not Maui, but the people of the big island of Hawaii. Okay? Now, here is that area called Monte Cristo Adobe Hills Volcanic Range in Nevada, over near Mina and Tonopah, Nevada here. That's what we've been talking about during the past years after that 6.9 earthquake over there. It is a huge volcanic area. A huge volcanic area. People should be wondering what is going on. People should be concerned. This is another picture here. The volcanic rocks in the area of the Monte Cristo Adobe Hills volcanic region. Look at the lava there. Look at the lava rock there. Here's another picture of Mount Hood at sunset. Look at the volcanic cloud above the volcano. That multi-level round cloud there is from the volcano steaming off. Mount Rainier, guys, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to make it a lot smaller than it is here. So you can get an idea of this volcano. It's huge. This is Mount Rainier. What do you think's going on? This is Mount Adams. This is out east of Mount St. Helens. Mount Bachelor. Mount Bachelor south of Mount Hood over in Oregon. This is the same volcano where they shut off the seismograph. They shut off the seismograph to that volcano. We reported on it when the seismograph was on. And we had earthquakes and tremors hitting every day there. They have had this seismograph turned off here at Bachelor for many moons, and that's not just a joke. The code for the PNSN is MOON, M-O-O-N. The seismograph has been off for years now, as if this volcano is not doing anything anymore. We all know it is. We all know it is. Let's take you over to Mount Baker. I'm sorry. That is a sideways picture of Mount Baker. I'm sorry. I'll have to fix that and we'll come back to that another time. This is Carlsbad, California, back in my neck of the woods. This is Calavera. Yes, there is a volcano over in Carlsbad, California. It's right there. I've been there, done that. Calavera in Carlsbad, California. Mount Etna in Sicily. Mount Etna in Sicily. I want to make sure you saw the last volcano before that over in Carlsbad. Hold on a second. This is Calavera in Carlsbad, California. There's a fence around the whole area. They don't want people to get in there, but people do. People do all the time. Carlsbad, California. Do people even realize they have a volcano in their backyard? Okay. Let me show you another one. This is Mount Conoche volcano in Clear Lake, California. Hold on a second. They did it to me again. Give me a second here. I'll be bringing it right back to you. This is Mount Conoche over at Clear Lake Volcano. Notice that Clear Lake Volcano, as we've been talking about, man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of this volcano to obtain steam, to take the steam over to the turbines to generate electricity at the thermonuclear facility, not thermonuclear, I'm sorry, geothermal facility down there 100 miles north of San Francisco. Okay? Two more volcanoes right there. Why am I showing them to you? I want you to be aware of them. I want you to be aware of them. Let me fix this picture so you can see it. Ray Spur just gave us a $20 super chat. Thank you, Ray. Really appreciate it. God bless you for that. Really, really appreciate that. Let me fix this picture so you all can see this. I think it's an important picture for everybody to see. I don't know why these pictures are turning out so large. I had them all programmed in here. That shouldn't be the case. If this wasn't important, I wouldn't even try to show it to you. I just want everybody to understand what's going on around you. A lot of people don't even realize it. We have had people in our chats that don't even recognize anything going on around them. People in our chats. People that call me. People that talk to me every day. This is Newberry. Newberry volcano. That's Newberry volcano. How about Mount Shasta? Everybody recognizes Mount Shasta, don't you? That's also got its share of earthquakes and tremors hitting it. Okay? Linda Covington said, I saw a dead tree. Right there you can see the lava field reaching down there. I'm sorry you only saw the tree there. This is Newberry volcano over there in Oregon. I'm showing you Mount Shasta now. How about Mount St. Helens? Mount St. Helens, when it erupted in 1980 and again in 2003. Mount St. Helens. How about Rincon de la Vieja volcano in Costa Rica? This is volcano number 4 in Costa Rica. Rincon de la Vieja in Costa Rica, Central America. That's a mud pot. How about over in New Zealand? This is Ngauruhoe, I believe that's how they pronounce it, Ngauruhoe volcano down on the North Island of New Zealand. That is not a recent eruption. That's about 30 years ago. I think it's 30 years ago anyway. I want to point out something else here. This was put out by Nikiski Fire Department over in Alaska. They have Mount Redoubt fenced up. You cannot even walk around over to Mount Redoubt unless you get permission to go hike there. This was a Nikiski Fire Department that put up a sign that says Mount Redoubt is active. Be prepared. Mount Redoubt is active. Be prepared. Paracutin volcano. Paracutin volcano here. Let me show you this. This is down in Mexico. Back in 1949, there was a farmer that was plowing his field. And all of a sudden, he saw steam and ash coming out of his field almost beside him. I remember reading the story when I was a teenager in high school. The farmer plowing his field over there in Mexico, and all of a sudden there was a rumbling and he saw steam and ash coming out of a small hole in his field. Over the next day, the volcano blew and grew. This is a cone 2 days after it started erupting. And it got larger and larger and larger. Imagine being down plowing a field in your own neighborhood. Imagine plowing a field in the area where you live. This is a volcanic eruption several weeks later. Unreal. Unreal. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. Volcanoes can come out of nowhere. Over the years, we've seen volcanoes all over Washington state. We have evidence of lava fields where volcanoes were. Over by Spokane, all around the Columbia River Valley. We have plenty of lava rock all over the side of the river. But we don't see a cone anymore, do we? Most of that lava did not come from Mount Rainier. It came from another volcano that was there that no longer exists. Because glaciation and water covered this earth and wore the cone down where it's not visible any longer. There are volcanoes all over, just like in this farmer's field in Mexico. We may not see them, but they are there. They are there. This is Popocatépetl today, after the eruption. It quieted down. Actually, I don't think that's today. I'm sorry. No, that was not today. That was last year. Popocatépetl. It's been erupting today. Folks, these volcanoes can happen anywhere, anytime. Are we prepared? Do we know what to do? And when we do it? What can we do to help us become more prepared? What can we do? I showed you images of all these volcanoes because we have studied them in days and weeks past. We've talked about them. They could re-erupt at any time. We know for a fact that magma is continuing to pound into those volcanoes. In some cases, rushing into them, causing 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes at the volcano. At the volcano. Let me go over now and let's talk about the New Madrid Fault. I want to show you what I found in regards to the New Madrid Fault today. Okay? The pictures I'm going to show you are real. They are today. This is Lake Charles, Arkansas. Look at these earthquakes. Some of them, that earthquake on the far right this afternoon, I'm sorry, the earthquake on the far left this afternoon may have been a 3.0. The second one definitely was a 3.0 earthquake, and subsequent smaller quakes all during that same time period. That, folks, was just after 3:48 p.m. this afternoon. At least two 3.0 earthquakes this afternoon in St. Charles, Louisiana. It's not the only place. Let's take a look at seismic activity in Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Look at this. We have seismic energy this morning, working for almost 2 full minutes. until we at least have a 2.0, 2.2 earthquake. Tremors consistent with a developing earthquake. And look out to the right of there. See that cone going out to the right? That, folks, is a secondary wave. A secondary wave. This earthquake down here may have been larger. It may have been larger than what they're saying, because that secondary wave lasted for a full minute. Okay? Let's look over at Little Rock, Arkansas this morning. Look at this. Tremors upon tremor upon tremor in Little Rock, Arkansas. Then what happened late morning this morning? Okay? This is just prior to 10:30 a.m. this morning. 10:29 and maybe 50 seconds. Another 3.0, 3.2 earthquake that lasted a while. Lasted several seconds. Okay? You see the tremors leading up to that? And after that, after 10:30 on the blue line there. Little Rock, Arkansas, guys. Let me show you this afternoon. Look what happened at Little Rock this afternoon. This is a suburb called Riverdale, a suburb of Little Rock called Riverdale. Look at the earthquakes here. Tell me that nothing's going on. Up until a year or two ago, nothing was going on. All we had was tremors. Look at the earthquakes here in Little Rock today. Right alongside the New Madrid Fault. 3.0, 3.5, maybe even 4.0 earthquakes hitting on the New Madrid Fault. Did this make the USGS map? Oh, hell no. Heaven forbid that the U.S. Geological Survey tells the entire country and the world that the New Madrid Fault is moving, and moving in a spectacular way. Look at that. Little Rock, Arkansas today. In previous episodes of this program, we've talked about Marktree, Arkansas. Marktree, Arkansas. Look what we have here. This looks like magma movement over there in Bombay Beach area. Magma and seismic wave movement at Bombay Beach and Walnut La Puente. And what we used to see over on the north side of Mount Shasta. Earthquakes like this. Look at the top and the bottom of some of them. That one blue one in the middle right now. The top and the bottom have been cut off because that earthquake was so strong, they don't want us to know how strong it was. This itself shows it to be above a 3.0. This would be a 3.5 at least. Probably a 4.0 moderate quake. Marktree, Arkansas. Now, can you imagine waking up just after 5:30 this morning to a 4.0 earthquake? Waking up at about 3:40 or 5:40 a.m. this morning to a 4.0 magnitude earthquake. Or earlier than that. This one here on the red line there on the left-hand side is 2:15 in the morning. This morning. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes later. 2:22 a.m. this morning, we have at least a 3.0 earthquake, and this lasts almost 3 minutes. This one lasts almost 3 minutes. Okay? This 3.5, 4.0, folks, came into Arkansas this morning at just about 5:40 a.m. 5:37, 5:40 a.m. this morning. Marktree, Arkansas. We have continued to speak to these people. I spoke to the mayor's office in Marktree a couple weeks ago. Fantasy Dog says, "We are all thankful for your service, my friend. I tell all my loved ones and some other people too about you." That's thanks to all that support you. Thank you, Fantasy Dog, for that $5 super chat. We appreciate that. God bless you. Folks, what do you think? Is this something serious that the people in Arkansas and the people that are around the New Madrid Fault should be thinking about? Should be very concerned about? I do. Michael McKinney says, that looks serious. It is serious. We've seen this before. This is the worst that it's been. Look at this same seismogram happening this afternoon. Same place. Marktree, Arkansas. We have some 2.5s, 3.0s, maybe even 3.5s or larger here. But this one takes the cake after 3:49 p.m. this afternoon. Look at that. The top and the bottom of this seismic signal was chopped off here. This is at least a 3.5, 4.0 magnitude earthquake. At least. 1 or 2 years ago, we were still seeing 1.2s, 1.5 tremors. Yes, we're still seeing some tremors, but now we're seeing full-blown earthquakes. Full-blown earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. Truman, Arkansas. Look at this. These are long-duration tremors and long-duration earthquakes. Look at it. Look how long this seismic disturbance is. Each and every one of them. Spanning, in some cases, 8 to 10 minutes. How'd you like to be shaken like that? To be woken up in the morning like that? Early in the morning, at just after 12:45 a.m., all you have are tremors. Tremors probably would not wake you up. Then it increases to 2.0 earthquakes. It might wake you up out of a dead sleep, wondering why you feel something going on that you're not sure what it is. And then they get larger and larger as the morning goes on like that. This is south of Marktree, Truman, Arkansas. This is Truman, Arkansas this afternoon, guys. Look at that long duration tremor just after 12 noon today. It comes out to be a 2.0 earthquake at one point in time. A lot of 2.0 earthquakes and a lot of tremors. But what do we see here after 3:30 this morning? Excuse me, not 3:30 this morning, 3:30 this afternoon. That blue line on the left-hand side, far left, is 3:30. What is this? The seismograph did not even accurately report this. The needle was bouncing all over. Why was it bouncing all over? Tyronza, Arkansas, far to the south. Look at this. This is what happened this morning. Nothing after midnight till about 5 a.m. this morning when the tremors first started. Hit and miss tremors. Hit and miss tremors until after 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock rolls around on that black line and we have more and more tremors, don't we? 7 o'clock rolls around and all of a sudden we have some full-blown earthquakes. 3.0 earthquakes. Bunch of tremors and 3.0 earthquakes and 2.0 earthquakes. 2.0 may not be able to be felt, but 3.0 earthquakes, yeah. You can feel these. You're probably not going to feel the tremors, but you're going to feel the 3.0 earthquakes. Tyronza, Arkansas, this morning. This afternoon, this happened. Okay? You still see that same long-term tremor signal that we saw over at Truman. Okay? And we also see this same seismic signature here on the blue 3:30 p.m. line here. What is going on? I don't know. I've been asking that question for about 2 hours today. Nobody can give me an answer as to why that stylus was bouncing all over the place, or it appears that's the case. Tyronza, Arkansas this afternoon. Folks, what I'm showing you are earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. It's not minor tremors like it was before. We need to be worried about those of you that live over on the New Madrid area. You need to be very concerned. I'm now going to go north over to Indiana. New Harmony, Indiana. Look at this. This is this afternoon. There are a lot of tremors this morning, but it was all gobbledygook all over the place. At least here we have a full signature here showing what's going on. Lots and lots of tremors over in Indiana. A ton of them. Literally, a ton of them in Indiana. This is the northern part of the New Madrid Fault. This is Evansville, Indiana here. It's fairly quiet morning until after 6 a.m. We had some tremors just after midnight. 1.1, 1.2, maybe 1.3 tremors. But it slowed down. And all we had was an occasional tremor, and that's it. Then they started in, and they got more serious and more serious. Look at this. This is Evansville, Indiana this morning. More and more tremors up there in Evansville, Indiana. Let me show you something. This is Evansville this afternoon. Even more so. So we actually probably had a tremor increase up here in Indiana. A tremor increase in Indiana. Do you think it's continuing? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Let's go to the south end of the New Madrid, down in DeRidder, Louisiana. This is DeRidder, Louisiana this morning. The top of this seismogram I'm going to show you right here was midnight. Nothing much happened until just before 5 a.m. again. What is the special thing about 4:30 to 5 a.m. in the morning? The tremors start ramping up. Earthquakes start ramping up. Look at this. Folks, this is on the New Madrid Fault, on the southern end of the New Madrid Fault. DeRidder, Louisiana. This is this afternoon. Look at this. Okay? Up until this afternoon, we didn't see much earthquake action. Maybe this afternoon we did, just after 1:30. About 1:35, we might have seen a 2.0, 2.5 earthquake. Down here, just after 3:30, we did. Okay? This is probably a 2.5, 2.8 earthquake down here in the southern part of the New Madrid Fault. New Madrid Fault. DeRidder, Louisiana. And it's not the only place. Let's take a look at Pioneer, Louisiana here. Here we see nothing but tremors here. Almost nothing at all early this morning at midnight and on through. It's just microquake activity. Then the tremors build and build and build. But it doesn't really become anything major at all. Okay? This is Pioneer, Louisiana this afternoon. The same thing going on. All we have here are tremors. Ongoing tremors. Light, very light tremor activity. All over the New Madrid. You might be wondering what I think is going on. You're right. You're absolutely right. This is Barker Cemetery this morning. Barker Cemetery in Missouri this morning. Nothing happened here until after 6, 7 o'clock this morning. Then the earthquake started. Fantasy Dog says, Ron, do you know who Ivan Browning is? No, I do not. Okay, this is in Missouri now. Up until now, I showed you earthquakes in Arkansas. I've shown you earthquakes up on the north side of the New Madrid, Illinois and Indiana. I even have a seismogram here from Ohio today with earthquakes in Ohio. Okay? This is Barker Cemetery in Missouri. These are some of the first earthquakes. There's only one other time where we've had full-blown earthquakes at Barker Cemetery. One other day. Now I'm showing you those here. Just after 7:15 this morning. They started just before that. 7:13 this morning, we had some tremors. 7:14 this morning, the tremors increased, and by 7:15 a.m., we had full-blown earthquakes. Missouri, folks. Missouri. I kid you not. How about Guam, Missouri here? Look at that. Ongoing tremor activity. We might have had a 2.2, 2.3 earthquake earlier this morning. Ongoing tremors in Guam, Missouri. Here's Guam, Missouri this afternoon. Now, we're still seeing these ongoing tremors, but now we have some earthquakes as well. 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes. Okay? So now we have Arkansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Illinois. How about Ohio? Would you guys like to see Ohio today? This is Bidwell, Ohio today. Look what happened here. Out of nowhere. We had some very tiny microquake activity and very few tremors at all. Here we have an earthquake early this morning. This is about 12:20 this morning. A 3.2 earthquake. In Ohio, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, and now Ohio. All over the New Madrid Fault area. Okay? All over the fault area. Portageville, Missouri. Look at this. This is this morning. Just after 1 a.m. At 1:05 a.m. we had some tremors. A minute later, those tremors really started building. Then we had a 2.0 earthquake. On and on and on. This seismic event lasted 2 minutes. Then it was quiet. Hit and miss tremors all morning long. Until 7:50 a.m. this morning. We had some tremors that started. They build up. 1.7 tremors. 1.7, 2.0 earthquake. Then it got to be a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. I don't think this sequence even got to 3.0. These are all minor earthquakes from what it appears. Then after 2:32 this morning, we had another 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. Portageville, Missouri. It's all over the place, guys. Would you like to see what we had here on the East Coast? We know the New Madrid Fault is getting hammered from the west with seismic events that are moving from west to east all across the North American craton that are forcing the issue over there on the New Madrid Fault and the eastern side of the craton, the Eastern Continental Divide. Here in Roland, North Carolina this morning, look at this. Full-blown earthquakes here in North Carolina. This is not the only town. This is not the only town where we had earthquakes. And look at the top of this. The top of this seismogram is midnight last night, early this morning. Those are microquakes, ladies and gentlemen, microquakes. What led up to these bigger earthquakes? The Atlantic plate pushing on the North American craton. Look at these earthquakes here. .8, 2.9 earthquakes. And folks, what happened after 7:48 this morning? Look at the top and the bottom of that earthquake signature there on the left, center, and over on the right side. Both those earthquake signatures have been topped and bottomed off. Those were much larger earthquakes, probably 3.5 or larger earthquakes. Yes, these were felt earthquakes, and they were not acknowledged by the USGS. These were full-blown earthquakes today here in North Carolina, and this is not the only place. I'm telling you, it's not the only place. It's crazy, guys. I never even thought that this would happen. But it did. It did happen. Roper, North Carolina. Look at this. We have not had seismic activity here like this. All up and down the coast, north to south along the Continental Divide. All of this is just tremors. We might have had a 2.0 earthquake early this morning on the green line on the right there. Okay? That would be 7:57 a.m. this morning. A 2.0 earthquake. And there may have been large earthquakes after that. Mostly just tremors. I kid you not, guys. It's happening. Look at Roper, North Carolina this afternoon. Up at the top is just after 12 noon. On the left-hand side is 12 noon Eastern Time. Look at about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes after 12 noon. We had a 2.0 earthquake, a minor earthquake, off the paper. Off the paper, a 2.0 earthquake this afternoon. Roper, North Carolina. Let me show you another one. The next seismic signatures I have here are at Taylorsville. Taylorsville is 40 miles north and west of me. Guess what, guys? Most of this is tremors except for one. On that black line this morning after 8, I want to say this is 8:13 a.m. this morning, a 2.0 earthquake. Taylorsville, North Carolina. We have not seen anything like this in some time. Yes, we've seen tremors like this, but we've never seen full-blown earthquakes at all. Sandy Mush, North Carolina, which is just south of me. This is tremor activity. We haven't had anything in Sandy Mush for months until today. This is just south of where I live. Let me take you up to Virginia. Look at Accomack, Virginia this morning. This is tremors all day long. Starts off by about 1.1, 1.2 tremors. It stays that way for a couple hours. Then we start seeing larger tremors than that. Fantasy Dog says, Google Missouri seismologist predicts earthquake. I will add to the story in the comments. I thought everyone knew about it. I've been browning. Send me an email. Look up my email and send me an email. I would like to read about that, and I'd like to talk to him. Thanks, Fantasy Dog, for that $5 super chat. Accomack, Virginia, guys, tremors happening there. This is Accomack, Virginia this afternoon. More tremors here. Let me show you Mineral, Virginia. Look here in Mineral, Virginia. We've had tremors in Mineral, Virginia before. Look at this. This is just north of us, north of where I live by about 3 hours. Here we have a 2.8 magnitude earthquake. A 2.8 magnitude earthquake. And all we had before that are tiny tremors. This earthquake was not precipitated by a bunch of tremors like we've seen in other times. This is a full-blown earthquake. Okay? 2.5, 2.8 earthquake here in Mineral, Virginia. Do you have any reason to be concerned? Yes, you do. And I'm not telling you to be concerned. I'm showing you the evidence. I'm showing you the evidence. South Carolina. Scranton, South Carolina, right here. A ton of tremors this morning in Scranton. Okay? Let me show you something. This is Scranton this afternoon. The tremors continue, but look at the top left corner. That, folks, is another 2.0, 2.2 earthquake. Scranton, South Carolina, this afternoon, just after 12 noon. But it doesn't stop there. It doesn't come close to stopping there. Let me show you Sumter, South Carolina. Sumter is just east of Lugoff and Elgin, South Carolina. Look at the earthquakes here. Again, USGS is not even showing these earthquakes, and the news stations are not talking about them either. Folks, we're having 2.5 earthquakes. 2.5 earthquakes. There are 5 of them. 2.5 earthquakes here. Yes, very sensitive people might feel these. But in the past, Elgin and Lugoff, which are just west of there, had these same earthquakes and felt them. So we're seeing these earthquakes develop over in the same area where we had earthquakes before. The same area where we had these earthquakes before. It's ongoing. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, guys. Now, does anyone have any questions? Linda Covington says, wonder if the apples got shaken off the trees in Mineral, Virginia today. Need to check. Yes, I think I'll be calling some people in the morning to see if their apples or other fruit from their trees or their vines was shaken off the trees. Because things are happening. Earthquakes are happening. Hurricane Heather is saying Hurricane Lee is officially a Cat 5 hurricane. 140 mile per hour sustained winds. Okay? Heather's saying sustained winds at 181. I think that is gusts up to 181. If this was sustained winds at 181, it would be like a Cat 6, and we don't have Cat 6 on the Saffir scale. That would be gusts of wind up to 181 miles an hour. That's a pretty sizable hurricane hitting the Leeward Islands right about now. We're probably going to see damage reports in the Leeward Islands tonight into tomorrow. A lot of damage that's going to hit there. I can only imagine what those people are feeling and seeing right now. I can only imagine what they're feeling. That's huge. Fantasy Dog said he just sent that to my email. I appreciate it. Yes, my Gmail account. I appreciate that, and I will air that information probably tomorrow night. I just want to make sure that everybody knows what I'm talking about. Now, I will also talk about Maui tomorrow night. I've run out of time right now. Now it's 8:45 on the East Coast. 8:45 on the East Coast. I'm not going to take it out any longer than that. Heather said we need a new point system with sixes. You're probably right. Okay? Now, we never have seen a Category 6 type storm before. A lot of you and even myself have talked about engineered weather. Yes, folks, we have engineered weather. Even some of our earthquakes are engineered. Okay? I look at those other earthquakes that I showed you today. There were no tremors precipitating those earthquakes. All of a sudden they were just there. Yes, that does happen occasionally. But how many times do we need to see that before all of a sudden we're asking ourselves what happened here? Just like what happened in 2019 over in Puerto Rico. Just like what happened in Puerto Rico. When our own government turns its computers loose and unleashes high energy waves into our upper atmosphere. High energy waves into our upper atmosphere that cause weather and earthquakes. It's a proven fact. This organization right here, please do not put this in the chat. I don't want to be kicked off this channel. Please don't put that in the chat. We know it's happening. We know for a fact it's happening. Yes, Heather, Katrina was 160 miles per hour. Gusts up to 160, and yet Anderson Cooper, who still works for CNN, the Communist News Network, I remember him watching on his own channel in our Federal Police Dispatch Center the night before we were shipped off to go to New Orleans, seeing him holding onto a stop sign, and he could hardly keep his feet on the ground because of the wind. And yes, if that hurricane continues to go as we believe it will, and follows that cone of uncertainty into the state of Florida, it will be a catastrophic storm to hit the east coast of Florida. And the outlying winds on the outside, the rings around the eye of the hurricane, the outer lying bands of the hurricane, going all the way over the peninsula of Florida, reaching up into Georgia, South and North Carolina, and points north. I fully expect that to happen this next week, by midweek. Mark Stolte says, Ron, if you ever are in Shelby, North Carolina on Tuesday, the Pleasant City Wood Fire Grill has half-price pizza. Very good price. And I have a feeling it's really good pizza too. Yes, I would love to do that. Shelby's not that far away, maybe 30, 45 minutes east of me. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. That would be fun. Anyway, guys, do you have any questions that I might help you with? Renee Steffi's saying, I'm preparing now. I think everybody needs to. If you are within the sound of my voice, or a friend of yours has given you this program to watch, please watch it. You need to be preparing for a major hurricane to hit Florida all over again. And you folks up and down the east coast of the United States, you need to prepare, because this hurricane is going north as well. It'll go north as well. We've seen what happens over in Virginia when Virginia gets hit with these hurricanes as well. It has happened. I've seen the after effects of hurricanes in Richmond, Virginia before. It's not pretty. Renee lives in Shelby too. It would be fun to see you guys over in Shelby and have pizza together. That would be a blast. Jessica Hyatt says, I'm near New Madrid. Anywhere close to New Madrid, you need to get prepared for a 5.0 to a 7.0 magnitude earthquake. As you've seen through the seismographs tonight, we're seeing 4.0, 4.5 activity on the New Madrid now. And it's getting to be more so every day. I will keep an eye on it, and I will continue to report every day if I have to of seismic increases on the New Madrid. I didn't have to do that before. I guess we have to do it now. And I will do it now. Any other questions? Michael McKinney says we worry about earthquakes on the West Coast. Oh yes, absolutely we do. And that's why I talked about earthquakes and volcanoes on the West Coast tonight. That's exactly why I did that. You guys have talked to me about volcanoes. I gave you the information about all the volcanoes you should be eyeing. You should be concerned about. Terry Rempel says there are over 230 array systems that can each discharge 3.5 million watts. They bounce off the ionosphere, creating storms and earthquakes. Yes, they do. Thank you, Terry, for being here to help explain things. I would love to have you on the air with me one of these days. Fantasy Dog says, hold on, I'm doing research for you. I appreciate it. Just send it over to my email, please. Thank you. Okay? Hurricane Lee is now hitting 130-mile-per-hour winds. Rebecca Arbiton said that. We appreciate that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have been here a long time with me, and I appreciate that. I want to leave you with a spiritual thought tonight. This comes from Romans chapter 6. I'm going to start with verse 1 through 4. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin, that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that so many of us were baptized into Jesus Christ? Were baptized into his death? It's a question. Or were we baptized into his death? In verse 4, therefore we are buried with him by baptism unto death, that like as Christ was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we should also walk in newness of life. We are who we are. We all have been given certain things that are going to happen to us in this life. Certain temptations, certain experiences. Those experiences will get us through this life. Experiences that will give us goodness in our life. And things we're not going to be thankful for, but maybe we should. But when it's all said and done, we're all going to be resurrected just as Jesus Christ was. We're all going to heaven if we do what we need to do. Obey the commandments and endure to the end. Mark Stolte says, I got a lot from your message last night. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it because I felt inspired to talk about that from early yesterday morning. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you very much. Folks, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed what we had to give you tonight. Also, make sure you share this program far and wide with your family and extended family, your friends and neighbors, the people you work with, and even the people that you socialize with on social media. Everybody needs to see this program tonight. Please, folks, September is Emergency Preparedness Month. We have this month to help us prepare. Please get your preparedness kit made. Please write your preparedness plan now, immediately. If you're already started, continue on it and finish it. Mine is over 100 pages right here, right beside my desk here. My own preparedness plan is over 100 pages. I've written preparedness plans for a lot of businesses over 100 pages long as well. All of it very important information, as yours is going to be as well. Write your plan. Work on your emergency supply kit. Food and water. You can't do anything without water. Make sure you get water, brothers and sisters. It's very, very important. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. Thank you for all being here. We appreciate and love you very much. Okay? Terry Rumpel says, my family doesn't either. That doesn't stop truth. Terry's right. This does not stop truth at all. It encourages truth and it grows. That's a fact. Thank you all for being here with us. Thank you all for staying here with us. The amount of time that people are staying with this program is increasing almost every day. And we appreciate that very much. The longer time you stay with this program and watch it, the greater chance that YouTube is going to let other people see it. The more people that are watching, the more people that are spending more and more time on this program, the thumbs up and also the comments after the program is done also go into that great big huge conglomeration of numbers, into the algorithm that lets Facebook decide if they're going to show our program to someone else on YouTube. We love and appreciate you, brothers and sisters. Thank you for being with us. If we can do anything with us or for you, please let us know. If you have questions, write us and let us know your questions, and we will answer those questions on the air. We will help you with the things you need. God be with you. May God bless you this night and always. Thank you all for being here. If anything else happens tonight, we will be back here on the air to talk about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, we'll be back here tomorrow evening, just about 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, maybe a little before that. Okay? Have a good night, guys. God be with you till we meet again. We'll see you around the corner. Good night, everybody.